No matter what you're doing, you should pretty much always consider testing in a virtual environment. Why is that? Let's take a look. Okay, so you want to take and build out something, or you're downloading something, a different piece of software you've never had before. You want to always test these things in a virtual environment, or if you're running new pieces of code or anything like that. The reason for this is you don't want to actually crash your system or potentially harm your main system in any way. I like to use VirtualBox for this and run different OSs for what I want. Like if I'm testing, I want to have like new configurations, or I have new ideas of different software to use to do things. I want to test that in a virtual network or in a virtual standalone to see whether it will hold up to what I want to do. Now, where you can't do this is when your virtual testing machine, the one that you host from, does not have enough specs and enough horsepower to be able to run what you want to. So obviously then you're going to have to run on your main hardware, but good chance you haven't deployed it yet, so you're not really worrying about damaging it because you can just reinstall. And if you're doing regular backups, as you're setting things up in case anything goes haywire, you have a restore point to go back to that you know is safe. That's why I recommend doing a backup and then testing everything, making sure it's working how you want it to, and then continuing and doing that repetitively. Oh, I'd say every 4 hours seems reasonable to me. But let's go back to testing in a virtual environment. So, I like to download software off the internet that is not always from like a reputable company, but it is from a website that is well known. But sometimes you'll get where they include adware or things like that in it. So I like to install in a virtual environment. Ugh. Okay, so I like to install in a virtual environment because the reason okay. Blah. Okay. The reason I like to install in a virtual environment is because I want to be able to know what's in it, analyze it, figure it out, and then take and install it on my main system. This is because of anything could go bad. I like to keep my system in good condition, so I don't want to have to keep resetting or removing malware or removing a virus or adware or whatever it happens to be, or blue screening it, or crashing a program and corrupting files, losing stuff, accidentally encrypting stuff. I want to ensure my main system has complete uptime. I strive for 99.9% uptime, even on my main workstation system sitting behind me here. And I like to keep that philosophy. So testing everything in virtual allows me to go through multiple iterations, figure out what it is I need, what it is I want, and then move it over and have it just, so I might have to only reboot it a couple times instead of having to go reboot through the testing. So sure, I'm still running on my main system, still waiting for the reboots, but what I'm doing is I'm keeping my main system up in case I get an email or something and I don't want to have to respond on my laptop that sits over here, or respond on my phone while I'm waiting for something to restart and configure and it's bogging down the system. I want to be able to actually respond to stuff. And as a professional, that is very important. I always want to be able to respond to emails quickly, and I pride myself on that, getting back to clients as quickly as humanly possible. The reason I like that is I like when clients get back to me, so I focus on getting back to them quickly as possible. So let's get back onto the virtual stuff. What I like to do is set up networks, especially when I'm setting up networks like for a business. I like to take and set up multiple different virtual machines and similarly configure what the network settings are going to be for their business deployment system, and I like to test and make sure everything is right, because when I go into a business, I'm expecting to be there a certain amount of hours, nothing more, and hopefully less. I want to have them up and running and ready to go and earn their money, keep their clients happy and their customers. I want them to always be able to serve their customers. The more downtime they have is less time that they're making money. And if you can get stuff done quicker and you can charge them more per hour by getting it done quicker there, sure, you've spent the time doing it back on your own system, but that is factored in when you charge more. You know it ahead of time. So either you've got that through training, through past experiences, or through testing in a virtual environment. So when you charge more, you are really getting the same amount if you think about it, and you're spending a little more hours at it. So you're just kind of making a little more money. And as we know, you're not always going to be 100% busy all the time. So that extra time that you're getting paid for out of that is going to work out really well for you in the end, because, well, you're making more money. If you guys like this video and you like me talking about videos like this or watching product reviews, subscribe down below, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed this one, comment, do you test things in virtual environments or you like to just go blazing into production? And I'll see you in the next one.